You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, gross atomic waste. From deep within the core, gross atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 2018 ASA Podcasting Holiday Special. Welcome, everyone. I am Andrew, and today on the show, we're just going to have community members from the ASA Podcasting community, from Facebook group and Twitter, everyone hanging out, just talking about some holiday traditions, playing some audio submissions. Some of us have created some stories and audio files to play about holidays and Fallout or Skyrim, Tamriel, and the Wasteland. So we're just going to hang out and have some fun today, talk about some holidays to play about holidays and Fallout. And hopefully we'll be able to cycle some people in from the YouTube. If you're over there in YouTube hanging out, you'd like to come in. Just say a word over there in the chat, and then Ray will try to hit you up with a link, and we'll get people into the show. So we've got a few new submissions this year, but otherwise it might be sort of a greatest hits of holidays hits from years past. We've got lots of files that have been sent in from past holiday shows. It's been one of our favorite traditions over the last 3 years we've done this, maybe 4 now. So
yeah,
really nice little good time. So let's go ahead and say hi to everyone who's joining in the party so far, and we'll hopefully have some more people rotate in a little bit later on. Today joining us, we have Victor. Hello, Victor.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I just want everybody to know that in order to come on, Andrew extorted me into buying Fallout 76. I was required to buy it in order to participate today, so I have now purchased Fallout 76.
I'm steepling my fingers over some mistletoe.
On PC, Xbox, or PS4?
So far, just PC, but one knows how these things go.
Okay, good one.
Woo, 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 woo.
And today also, hi Sarah, how's it going?
Hi.
Happy holidays.
Good.
You're cheating out on work, so good for you.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, no, I didn't say it.
She's a lie.
I'm so excited that Victor downloaded it on the right format. Good job, Victor.
Oh, you got it on Xbox too. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Counters unite, except for PS4. They don't count.
Oh, that's so mean.
PS4 too. No, PS4 is fine. Good job, guys. You're in it to win it. Good job. Also today, Ray. Hi, Ray.
Afternoon, Andrew.
Happy holidays, sir. And Lee.
Greetings. Merry.
And Frater, what's going on, Frater?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful, sir. Frater and I ran around this morning together in the Wasteland a little bit. We had a really good time for the Xbox stream team. It seems like we're going to try to make this sort of a semi-regular thing on Sunday mornings or sometime when most people can make it. I always love doing that. It was a fun time. What did you like it, Frater?
It was great until the end part where I started dying every 30 seconds.
Oh no, what was happening?
Multiple scorched beasts, Mirelurk this and that, shard everywhere, or scorched, sorry. It was just, I was way underpowered for all that. So I just laid on the ground watching everybody else destroy these things.
Yeah, I went to some pretty high-level areas with other people who were extremely high-level compared to me. And all I was doing was I was running away from everything as fast as possible, but just trying to get one shot on each item on the screen and then just try to avoid being hit and live as long as possible. Because as long as you hit that one thing that one time, you actually get all that XP. And I have that charisma boost that says if I'm part of a team, I get extra bonus XP on top of that. So I always try to stack that sort of thing. And I'm sure there's something you can do, like be well fed or well tuned or well slept or, whatever it is, and get bonus XP on top of that. I need to figure that out. I'm sure there's some sort of bonus XP food too, right? There's got to be. So that's always a good time. I love the Saturday or Sunday morning stream team, Xbox stream team we're doing. If anyone's interested in hopping in on that, we've been getting 2 teams of 4 together, running around as a team of 8. It's a good time. Check it out on the ASA Podcasting Twitch channel. The video should be up. If it's not already, it should be up very soon. All right. So we do have a couple of new submissions on the show this year. So I think that we should start the show off by going through those. But as we start playing some files here, let's everyone think about, if you can, any sort of references to the holidays in Skyrim or Fallout or cool mods or anything that has to do with that. I know Lee, that you played a Fudge Muppet build one time that had a little nod to the holidays there. So
It did. It was a Santa character.
yeah, a good Santa character. So we'll check in with some holiday references in the Fallout world, and maybe possibly Skyrim as well here in just a minute. But first, let's check in with one of my new favorite community members, Sarah. Happy holiday, Sarah. Thanks for submitting.
Sarah Sailor here. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. A little disappointed I didn't get to make it to the live recording, but I did write a little something. This is I guess a kind of a backdoor introduction / letter home from my new round character. Wow, words are hard. My new roundtable character, Bradley. So here we go. December 15th, 2102. Dear Jack, it feels strange being outside of the vault walls after so long. The world after, I think I heard it called the Great War on a holotape I found in Flatwoods, though there was nothing great about it happened. Isn't at all what I expected to find. Hell, we were just kids whenever all this happened. Maybe I expected everything to be the same, but maybe a little bit more exploded. The hopeful part of me had thought I would find you here, still in Point Pleasant, waiting for me to come back. Then, after what we found in Flatwoods, I'm glad you're not here. I never forgave my father for leaving you and your folks behind to try to survive all this on your own. I believe that you did. I have to believe you did, because the alternative is just unacceptable. Maybe that was the beginning and the end of my relationship with him, or maybe it ended the night of the tree lighting in 76. He knew Mama had too much wine that night, but thinking that way doesn't change it. I want to believe that coming back to Point Pleasant now on this day is merely a coincidence. But I know that it's not true. I tried to come back once before, but I made it as far as the welcome sign before turning back. I wasn't ready. I allowed myself to be swept up in the mission, so much so that almost 2 months had passed since we left the vault behind. There are times when I felt that time is on an infinite loop, and every day is October 23rd. It could also be that the odometer on my Pip-Boy is broken. I really should have gotten that fixed before leaving the vault. I guess time like it once was just isn't important now. It doesn't feel like Christmas. I thought maybe coming back here to find you, maybe it would feel that way again. Or maybe things as trivial as Christmas aren't as important. I often wondered if people kept up the pretense of the holiday season, or if they let it go by the wayside. Damn it, Jack, it wasn't supposed to be like this. We were supposed to work with the people left behind to show them how to rebuild society. How are we supposed to rebuild if everyone's dead? I hope that you're somewhere alive. Coming back today, it wasn't a coincidence. It's been 26 years since the car accident. I'm still obsessed with him, and I know he's still out there. Maybe I had hoped that he would be here today, on this day. Maybe I miss the old traditions, the city and lights, the holiday bazaar, the memorial Christmas tree decorated in the names of those who were lost in the Silver Bridge collapse. I loved that we would go back to my house and drink eggnog and make sugar cookies. I miss the Christmas musical on the radio and music on the radio in those old black and white movies that they would play at the theater. Most of all, I miss you, Jack. You are my best friend. To be honest, you were my only friend. I was always the weird girl who liked to read and believed in weird stuff. And then the car accident happened, and I was the weird girl with the dead mom who claimed the Mothman saved her. You always believed in me, and I love you for that, Jack, even though I was barely 9 at the time and you were a much older, cooler 13-year-old. Sometimes I even wonder, no, I better not go there, thinking it hurts way too much. Wherever you are, I hope that you're happy. I hope that you're leaving out slightly irradiated milk and cookies for Old Saint Super Mutant Claus and getting genetically altered carrots for acid rain radsags, that the nuclear winter wonderland is glowing beautifully wherever you are. Most of all, I hope you're alive, safe somewhere far away from here. I need you to be alive for me. With love from Bradley.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah, for your submission. It brings up a good point. After the apocalypse, do people still make time to celebrate the traditions? Do they abandon such things because of the hurt? Do family memories and past come to the foreground in that time of year? Wonderful submission.
Excellent.
Thank you, Sarah. Great. So, let's see, Lee, why didn't you go ahead and mention our Santa build we were talking about just a few minutes ago?
Oh man, I should have looked back up at it. Yeah, it was one of the Fudge Muppet builds, and that included a little backstory about how he had lost his family and all this stuff, and was trying to keep some of the traditions going, and just the difficulty of doing that, and how he had to draw the line with who he could help and who couldn't help, because mere survival became so difficult.
And you teamed it up with some mods too, correct? Some power armor and some skin.
Right? Yeah, there was a power armor skin that was Santa. It said "ho ho ho" on the front of it. It's a red power armor, and there were red combat helmets and with white stripes on them and that kind of stuff. And there was a red-nosed radstags and all that. It was a pretty funny mod. And of course it had snow in it too, which was very nice.
Red-nosed radstags. Do we want to hear from Crazy Larry?
We might, yeah. Just as an introduction, Crazy Larry is a character that I came up with for the Vault 97 podcasts over at I forgot the name of the site. Vault 97 is the site, vault97.com, and the podcast is West Vault Radio.
Exactly. Yep.
With our good friend Laura over there. So just a crazy little thing I did where I redid a Christmas song in light of Fallout 4 and 3, and just has references to Bostonian stuff and like that.
If anyone out there in our community listening to the holiday special hasn't yet heard West Vault Radio, please go check it out. They have a Christmas episode. You can kick off with that one that they put together last year. And Lee was a part of that. Here's Crazy Larry with Bosty, the red-nosed radstag.
Y'all know Ducky and Dumpster and Pouncer and Voltec. And Chipper and Dummy and Bubbler. But do y'all recall the most famous red stag of all. Frosty the red-nosed red stag had a very shiny nose, and if you ever seen it, you would even say it glows like a glowing one. All of the other red stags used to laugh and call him names like Chowderhead. They never let poor Bosty join in any red stag games. Then one froggy Xmas Eve, Santa Bart came to say, Bosty, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my Corvega tonight? Then how all the red stag loved him as they bellowed out and flee. Bosty the red-nosed red stag, you'll go down in his story.
Wonderful, crazy Larry. Thank you so much for the submission, Lee. Good stuff. Also,
Thank you.
checking in later if we have time. I submitted a song for the same project last year, so we'll another Christmas in the Wasteland. So if we get to my submission later, you might get to hear that one too. Is from last year. Great. West Vault Radio. Check them out, everybody. Highly recommended. Victor, I see that you're muted. Does that mean you're away at cooking?
No. I've been trying to get a picture. I have a screenshot of that power armor that Lee was talking about. I was trying to find a way to get it so everybody could see it.
I was just going to ask you, do you remember off the top of your head any specific references to holidays or traditions or anything built into Skyrim? Are there like letters and books and stuff about the holidays in any fashion?
Not that I remember specifically. I mean, there are several mods that you can get that, you know, that either add Christmassy things or just holiday in general. I think there are there actual holidays in the Elder Scrolls tradition? I don't remember. But I mean, there's the old holidays mod by Isaku, who did Wet and Cold. It's sort of, I think it's actually an extension of Wet and Cold, and it just, you know, it strings garlands and lights across all your towns and things like that. So there's that. There are, you know, Santa hat mods and things like that. So, but I don't think there's anything particularly specific to Tamriel. I may be wrong.
I can't remember. I thought that there was some sort of moon festivals when moons lined up or something, but
there might be. But yeah, I think they just, yeah, I don't know.
All right, Fallout guys, what do we know about holiday references in the Fallout world? I know that Halloween is a big thing because it's always October 23rd nowadays, but back in Fallout 4, also kicked off around October. Lots of the towns were all decked out in pumpkins and stuff, but there were Christmas trees in the build menu and stuff like that. At least there were some trees up around town. What other holiday references did we find in the other Fallout games?
Well, in Stadium, that became a town, in Fallout 4, if you show up there on Christmas, it's all decorated with Christmas lights and trees and stuff.
On
Diamond City.
Only?
Yeah, Diamond City. Drew a blank.
On that day only, December 25th, and they'll disappear.
I think so.
That's pretty sweet. And again, they put your Christmas trees in the build menu in Fallout 4. I haven't seen them pop up in Fallout 76 yet. I was hoping that they would add that in the camp build menu. Also, I've been bugging Pete Hines and people over there at Bethesda on Twitter to try to get a Santa suit going in the Atomic Shop, but I don't know if we're going to get any traction on that this year or not. You're talking about it on the stream team this morning. They seem to think that is still a possibility, and I said, well, I only have enough atoms probably for either the festive suit or when they drop Santa suit, that. So I probably can't get both. I really want to get something to wear out, to flash my stuff during the holiday season. I don't just want to sit here and miss the whole opportunity to wear something festive just because I'm waiting for a Santa suit that'll never come.
Well, at least they could do would be an ugly sweater.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That is one of my essential mods for Fallout 4 was the ugly Christmas sweater mod.
Yep.
We have 2-headed Radstag sweaters. Mine was always just the simple Christmas tree. It just looked really simple, really flashy, really good.
Well, haven't people started using mods in 76 already? So a lot of that stuff may be portable over.
Yeah, PC stuff probably. I haven't looked into it at all. Of course, I'm on Xbox, so I don't know. Ray, have you messed around with any mods yet on 76?
I started to, but then I ran into that update glitch that was causing me to crash every time I tried to log in. Before I figured out that it was a bug, I had deleted all the mod stuff, thinking that might be what was causing me to crash the desktop, and I haven't put it back yet.
Yeah, and two things on that. One, of course, they're not trying to encourage it at this point. They want to do it later when there's private servers. Right. And even ones that are just cosmetic, it turns out that if you apply one of those, you can see it, but nobody else can see it because they don't have the mod.
Right.
Right. That would make sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
So that would be very hard, I think, to really implement in general. I guess you're right, until there's a private server where you can actually mod the server rather than just your gameplay.
They'd have to be server-side mods, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
But now I did come across a Christmas tree in Charleston.
Nice.
I did too. It's isn't it inside? Or I found a bunch of Christmas trees inside what building is that? Help me out here. It's like the building where everyone's voting.
The State House, maybe?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, this one was just in a storefront.
Oh, nice. Do you remember?
It was in Charleston. I don't remember exactly where it was or where I was coming out of, but
cool.
It was right along that little river that runs through the middle of town, and there was a raider underneath the tree with a frag grenade in his pocket.
Oh yes, you uploaded a nice picture.
Oh yeah.
So I'll have to post that on the Facebook group.
Great. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, so if we can think of any other holiday references throughout the games, bring those up here later in the show. But we'll move on with another new holiday submission for this season. We have Rebecca with the Christmas waffle.
Flash woke with a start. She had the distinct feeling of being woken by a noise somewhere nearby. The abandoned shack was in complete darkness. It was either very late at night or very early morning. Where was Angeline? Flash couldn't hear her. She couldn't hear anything other than the familiar sound of a nearby radstorm and her own rapid heartbeat. She felt uneasy. Had she really heard something, or was it a dream? She slowly and silently reached out and felt for her bladed knuckles, which were next to her mattress on the floor. She tried to slow her breathing and focus on listening for the slightest sound. Nothing. Minutes passed in the silent darkness. Or was it moments? She couldn't tell. She'd been living in the abandoned shack for 5 weeks, yet decided what to do next. Should she go back to 10 Pines Bluff and continue where she'd left off? Piper and Kate might still be there, and Hancock, but every destroyed building and landmark reminded her of the life she'd lost. Maybe she should pack up and move on to somewhere new, start over again and leave her old neighborhood behind forever. Or should she just stay in the abandoned shack in the glowing sea and quietly end her days there alone? None of the options seemed particularly appealing to her, but her old life was gone and there was nothing she could do about it. How long had she been sitting here now? She hadn't heard any noises, and her pulse, which had been racing, was almost back to normal. She slowly got up and peered out of a window. There was Angeline, She could just make out her silhouette, moving slowly and silently not far from the shack. The feeling of unease had all but gone, and Flash felt slightly foolish for having been so unsettled. She quietly stepped across the floorboards and picked up her Pip-Boy from the table. She hardly used it these days, as she rarely left the shack. Angeline visited the crater of Atom every few days to pick up supplies for her, so she had no reason to venture out. Strapping the Pip-Boy to her wrist, she checked the display. It was Christmas morning. Her first Christmas alone in this new, broken world. She sighed and glanced out of the window again. As she did, she noticed something illuminated briefly by the dull light from her Pip-Boy display. She switched the light on and was startled to see a small stack of items just inside the doorway, with a folded piece of paper resting on the top. As she moved towards it, she could see that it was a selection of packaged food items, Nuka-Colas, some magazines, Pip-Boy games, a baseball bat with a strip of frayed material tied around it like a bow, and a blue party hat. Utterly confused, she picked up the piece of paper. It read, "Merry Christmas, Flash. We are survivors like you, and we are celebrating Christmas together at Somerville Place. Come and join us for the party. We would also like to invite you to join us for a new adventure. We have 2 vertibirds which will leave for Appalachia in a week. Some of us are going to start new lives there. The rest are undecided at the moment, but they might come too. There's room for you should you wish to join us. We hope to see you soon for the Christmas celebration and to discuss our futures in Appalachia. In the meantime, enjoy these gifts. From your friends, Belle, Jung, Addison, Crystal, Spade, Timmy, Davis, Josiah, Adrienne, and Mary." Flash picked up the blue party hat, put it on, and realised that her decision was finally made. Merry Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Radioactive Rebecca, everyone, with a submission here for Flash. Of course, her character. Big hit from season 6 of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. Fallout Feed Roundtable season 7 has kicked off last week. If you are interested in participating in a roundtable, doing a play-along character, roll yourself a random character over at Fallout Feed, the Fallout Feed section of our website, asapodcasting.com. Click on our icon. It'll take you right there. It says Fallout 76 Random Character Generator. Get yourself a character and then send us in every other week 5 minutes of audio feedback to the falloutfeed at gmail.com. We love to hear all the feedback stories. The community is really what makes this whole show any sort of worth. It gives it all its values. All
That's great.
People who come in. Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, for your submission there. And Rebecca also contributing to the community via Fallout Terminal Velocity. If you are interested in participating in Fallout Terminal Velocity, if you have any specific locations around the wasteland that you enjoy, particularly any holotapes, any letters, any notes, any just different scenes that you like, any stuff that you can pick up and talk about. But specifically, we're reading terminals mainly.
It's like such a relief to see that us reaching out to Flash had changed her mind. We were all very worried that she was going to end her life out there in the abandoned shack.
Yeah, that was one of the last episodes. We were all very concerned about Flash and the round table. And so someone had the idea in the YouTube chat that, we need to go support Flash. So a lot of people took the roundtable characters over to that porch she's talking about on the abandoned shack over there in the very southwest corner of the map, where there is a secret Brotherhood of Steel bunker underneath. But so we all went over there and took snapshots and said, "We're here for you, Flash," and everything. So that's great. We're glad the character hasn't decided to do something brash. Really, really right around the holidays too. Good call, Ray. So let's just ask anyone personally. Do you guys have any family holiday traditions that you think are particularly weird to other people. Or since we're a regional food podcast, you guys eat anything weird at holidays? Or, I bet you don't think it's weird, and we hear it, and we're gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about? No one eats that." So, my family has crockpot barbecue on Christmas Eve. I don't know if that's weird for anybody else. Crockpot barbecue, shredded beef.
Sounds good.
Just a cooking in a crock pot all day with different barbecue stuff. People keep dumping in it all day to keep refreshing the juiciness of it,
That sounds good.
Yeah. And it's not a tradition in my family, but I recently learned, and it's true with most Christmas parties I go to, people in the Midwest have something called Christmas meatballs that you see just sort of like a crock pot of meatballs most every Christmas party. Usually made with a jar of grape jelly and a jar of chili sauce mixed together. That sort of spicy, sweet meatballs. You can also see a variation of Vienna sausages or mini weenies, little smokies, and substituted for the meatballs in that same dish. So, I don't know. In the Midwest, that's evidently a thing. But typically at my family, we had... it was more not finger foods, but sort of a light party Christmas Eve, and then it was serious dinner Christmas Day. Crockpot barbecue and like little finger foods and sandwiches and punch Christmas Eve. Christmas Day was the sit down dinner with the ham and mashed potatoes and that sort of stuff.
Same here, definitely.
Always Christmas morning, hot pecan rolls, usually of the Pillsbury variety, but that was one of my fondest memories, just smelling fresh rolls as you wake up. Love that. Now there's an orange variety that I make my wife get, and they sell out of these, so I make her start looking for them in November, and we stock up.
I think you can get. Are you talking about the Pillsbury ones that come like in a can?
Yeah, exactly.
The orange ones.
Yeah, those are delicious.
We can get those year round over here.
Yeah, we can here now too, but they sell out.
They just sell out.
Yeah,
how funny!
Yeah, they're always gone. December, you can't find them on the shelf usually, unless you're there on stock day.
Huh.
Philip says they had chocolate-coated crickets last year. He wonders if that counts.
Oh, of course.
That totally qualifies.
Yeah, I wonder what
Absolutely.
circumstances.
It's a healthy choice.
Yeah,
certainly full of protein.
Way of the
future.
It
is the new protein. That is very California of you, Phil. Way to represent.
So I do lacquered bacon.
We're organic bacon.
Ooh, lacquered bacon.
Yeah, tell me about that. Is that a maple sort of lacquer, or what is that?
No, it's a special kind of brown sugar. It's extra dark and really hard. You mix that with a little bit of chili flakes and sprinkle it over bacon and bake it in the oven. Then you flip it over and sprinkle the other side and finish baking it until it's crispy. And it goes quick.
That sounds pretty damn good, right?
Sounds amazing.
Lacquered bacon, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I think we need the recipe posted somewhere.
Yeah, we need to start just like can we do like a folder on the Facebook page of just like Ray's recipes? Ray, I just need a cookbook. That's what I need.
I'll do that in my spare time.
Yeah. I'd greatly appreciate it. But no sous vide recipes because I could never do that. I just need like easy Instapot if possible.
Okay.
Brader, you have to put down a fancy Christmas dinner in front of a dignitary on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, or else your ass is grass. What are you serving?
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'd start with some turkey and some prime rib.
That's the way to do it.
Nice and simple, and everybody's going to have something they like.
Is there a special Canadian type Christmas tradition that maybe we've never heard of?
Yeah. I'm sure you do something weird with stockings or put a shoe under a car or something, right?
Shoot,
Have
or
a
car.
whoever finds the hockey skate with the bottle of Molson wins, right?
Well, that's the problem, though. I never know what's so different. Like, I had no
That's
idea.
right.
Coffee crisp.
You hide a pickle in the tree?
No pickles. There's some elf feet sticking out of my tree, though.
That's cute. The pickle thing's a German thing, isn't it, Andrew?
I believe so. It kind of is around here in Indiana a little bit, but it's really, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota type.
Yeah, I grew up with sort of in a German tradition, so yes, pickles and definitely.
Yeah, we have a pickle as well, but we're a German family.
Yep. Well, my mom's Russian, but she grew up in Berlin, so.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
I want to do that Norwegian tradition where they hang it upside down from the ceiling and like light the live candles. It always sounds awesome. Yeah. It's super dangerous though, right?
Yeah, we did that one year. And I think my dad stood about 3 feet away from the tree with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Well deserved, I would say.
Yeah, probably.
For 3 weeks.
He didn't sleep either. No, that's great. Lee, do you have anything weird in Georgia, Christmas related?
Not that I'm aware of. Just, we're just south of where Sherman went through Georgia, and so there's still some antebellum mansions here, and so they'll have a tour of homes.
Oh, beautiful!
They're all done up for Christmas. It's very nice.
And you grew up in Massachusetts. Are there any northeastern things that you remember?
If you had a fir tree in the yard, you'd decorate it.
That's nice.
And well, this is both Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I do remember we had a type of corn there they called butter and sugar corn that had both yellow and white kernels on it. Oh. That was always a favorite.
Yeah, definitely. That came out of Vermont, actually. I remember.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, you probably know I'm from Massachusetts too, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. How was it prepared in a special way?
No, just boiled like any other ears of corn, Served on the cob.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we have another new submission from listener Phil. Phil, thanks for being on the show a couple weeks ago. He has been a staple in the PC community. You guys doing your gaming online and stuff. So check out the PC community. Sarah, do you guys have a regular time or anything you're trying to do that?
We don't, but if you guys want to be in our Facebook chat, we have a chat going where we let each other know when we're going to be hopping on. And then we'll get another group run going here pretty soon. But just let us know on the Facebook group if you want to be added into that. We love the more people, the merrier.
And also announcing we also have on the ASAPodcasting website, if you're interested in playing Fallout 76 with friends, we have a spreadsheet up of every single person who has signed up on our sign-up thread. There are no people's real names on the list because we didn't want to give anybody's personal identity if they didn't want it known. But all the handles and game tags and usernames are all up there in a spreadsheet organized by Xbox, PC, and PS4. So if you're interested in finding some people to play with, look us up on the website. And of course, for the maximum effect, we encourage everyone to join our Facebook group because that's where we have all of our good conversations and all sorts of good stuff going on. Lots of good conversations are started by this guy. Thanks, Phil.
Dear fellow vault dwellers, I want to read a letter to you today that was written by a real Marine, a Lieutenant Leonard Smith Isaacs Jr., who fought in World War II in Iwo Jima and lost his life in 1945. He wrote a wonderful little letter home to his sons just before he went into battle. And I've paraphrased it here for Fallout. First Lieutenant Leonard Smith Pleas Jr., 27th Marine Regiment, 5th Division, Anchorage, Northwest Commonwealth, December 18th, 2076. My dear little boys, Davy and Sammy, I am writing you today just a week before Christmas Eve in the hope that you will get this little note at Christmas time. All of this coming week will be holidays, and I can just imagine the fun you will be having, especially when you know it is just a few days before Santa Claus will be coming. If it were possible, I would like to come down the ventilation pipe of your shiny new vault myself and crawl right into your stocking. Wouldn't that be a surprise? I would enjoy it even more than you. But since your daddy is far away and Santa Claus has only the reindeers that will fly through the air, I'm afraid we'll have to let Santa Claus use them. After all, he has so many places to go in such a short time. I won't be able to give you a Christmas present this year, but I do want you to know that I think of you all the time and feel very proud of the way you have been helping Mommy while I am gone. I know that it is only natural for young, healthy, and strong little boys like you to want to play and have fun all of the time, but I do want you to think about helping Mommy because it is so hard for her to do everything while I am gone. I know that you would like to give me a Christmas present too, so I'll tell you what you can do, and this will be your Christmas present to me. Every day ask Mommy if there are any errands you can go on for her, like running up to the cafeteria to get dinner from Mr. Sullivan when Mommy is working late. Or Davy, you can take care of your little brother when Mommy visits Miss Sarah in the beauty salon. And when there are errands to run, say, "Sure, Mommy," and give her a big smile. Then during the day, go to your room and look around. And if Jangles is stuffed at the end of your bed, Sammy, or if the polar teddy bear Daddy sent Davy is on the floor, be good boys and pick them up. If you will do these things for me, that will be the finest Christmas present that you could give me. Well, my boys, I guess you often wonder why people fight and have wars and why lots of mommies and daddies have to be away at Christmas time, fighting when it would be so much nicer to be at home. That's a hard question to answer, but you see, some countries like China have billions of nice people living in them, just like all of the people you and I know. But there are very few that want to tell everybody what they can do and what they can't do. You know, like Uncle Jake in the overseer's office. And unfortunately, the only way to make a person like that stop doing those sorts of things, or a country like China, is to fight them and beat them and teach them that being a bully is wrong and not fair. I know Mommy says her brother is a bully, but Daddy doesn't want you to ever be a bully. I want you to always fight against anyone who tries to be one. I want you to always help the smaller person or the little girl who may not be as strong as you. I want you to always share what you have with the other kids. And above all, my boys, have courage. Have courage to do the things that you think are right. If you and lots of other girls and boys try to do the things that Daddy has been talking about in this letter, it may be that people will not have to fight wars in the years to come. And then all of the mommies and daddies in the world will be home for Christmas. And that is where they belong. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. God bless you, Daddy.
Wow, thank you, Phil. Phil mentions here in the YouTube comments here, I forgot to say Sammy. Sammy, please, is my roundtable character. This is a letter from his dad when he was just 2. So this is a letter that he's been carrying, I guess, since he was 2. Sammy's getting out of the vault. Please follow Sammy's adventures this season on season 7 of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. We're looking forward to your adventures, Phil. Thank you so much for your submission. That was really great.
Yeah, really.
It's wonderful.
A really touching reimagining of a real letter sent from soldier to his family from World War II. That's great. Really imaginative and touching presentation, Phil. Thank you. That's really nice. I also have a little bit of a reimagining of a classic Christmas song. Oh, Christmas Tree, Oh, Christmas Tree. Here is my rendition of Oh, Old Pip-Boy. Old Pip-Boy, oh, old Pip-Boy, how lovely are your buttons. Old Pip-Boy, oh, old Pip-Boy, Geiger clicks all the sudden. I get my specials off your screen, your festive lantern glowing green. Old Pip-Boy, oh, old Pip-Boy, how lovely are your buttons. Old Pip Boy, oh old Pip Boy, how lovely are your dials. Old Pip Boy, oh old Pip Boy, I use you all the while. Access to weapons on the go and Diamond City Radio. Old Pip Boy, oh old Pip Boy, how lovely are your dials. All right, thank you for that, Mr. Casio Keyboard.
That was nice.
Excellent.
So we've got some old hits from years past that we can get into as we go here. There's a Pat submission from long ago, was great. We've got two from Susan, who happens to be Laura from Westfall Radio, and some Red Queen Hypothesis old Christmas songs if we want to get into them, or we can just hang out and talk. Whatever we want to do. If anybody in the YouTube chat wants to hop on, let it be known, and we can just sort of hang out and talk for the rest of the show. So open the floor. Victor, what have you heard about Fallout 76? Are you excited to get into it at all?
I heard it really sucks.
That is that's just
but everybody here seems to like it, so I bought it. Yeah.
Better question: Did you get it on the $29.99 deal?
$29.99. No, I got it for $39.99 on Amazon.
Almost as good.
Where and when was the $29.99 deal?
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, no, I missed that. Yeah,
I think Black Friday sales, the reviews were particularly bad, and Bethesda was bullied into pushing the prices down super low.
Yeah. No, I was gonna wait, but then I thought
Walmart or whatever I think was really cheap.
Yeah. So Colin and I had made a pact to wait, but I have now broken the pact. So he's probably going to make life extremely difficult for Mouse during the next Skyrim 10 AD. So
it's gonna stick it to you somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, he already has.
Well, he's threatening to kill us all. So
Skyrim 10 AD was really fun on the charity episode.
It was great.
It was great to listen to too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, DMs like to threaten that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently trying to. I didn't realize I had to download a downloader in order to get the game, but unfortunately, the Amazon Games and Software downloader thing has frozen in the background. So I'm not able to download the game yet. But so what have I heard of it? I've heard that it has its issues, but that it's fun to play. I'm sort of looking forward to creating a character and walking out into the world, and seeing what it's like, and then playing with all you guys. So it'll be fun, except you, Andrew, of course.
Everyone else but me.
Yeah.
No, it's I think that is really the highlight. People are complaining about the lack of NPCs and that sort of thing. I think but that is not a large part of the reason why I play the Fallout games anyway. So of course I don't miss that as much. It's a game-breaking experience to a lot of people, evidently, though. And I have to be sympathetic to that, but just because it's not the way that I play a game, I can't say, oh, you guys are dumb or something. I mean, that could be devastating for some people.
Well, it's sort of, I mean, having not played it yet, I can't really, but it strikes me that a lot of people are just sort of misunderstanding what the game is, what it's supposed to be, and perhaps a lot of the people who are hating on the game have never actually even played a Bethesda game and don't really know much about Bethesda as a studio. So don't understand that they're really attempting to make a true RPG MMO, a real one where you can create a character and go, other than so. And it's a difficult process. There's lots of kinks to work out in it.
Yeah, someone made a comment on a Facebook group post the other day. It's just like, well, I don't like Fallout 76 because, you know, it's really buggy and things are broken and things aren't working and we need patches and I don't like it. And I said, so it's basically like every other game that's ever been released early on. They get to stuff, you know? I mean, even Skyrim, I'm still getting fucking orange carpets. Victor.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things they just don't get to, and that's part of the charm. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But if you do, it is amazing.
Well, and you know, to be honest, it's not like games like Destiny and others didn't come out with bugs and problems and et cetera, et cetera. Bethesda's not the only studio that has issues with stuff like that. So, plenty of buggy MMOs out there.
And we're getting lots of pipe in from the "you ruined my childhood" crowd, or the also, like you mentioned, the crowd who hasn't even played the game and are just dismissing it automatically for internet buzz, I guess.
Well, and right now, of course, for people who are watching the gaming world and paying attention to games that have been announced, Obsidian has just announced a new game that's essentially, I guess boiling down to it, it's sort of Fallout New Vegas in space, and so everybody's really
Fallout New Vegas was pretty rocky at the start too.
It sure was, yeah, totally. And that's partly because they got pushed into bringing it out in 11 months, right? So,
I can't count the number of times that I've seen the comment online, "Oh my God, I hope Bethesda has nothing to do with Fallout 5. Please, someone give it to Obsidian." And with what Frater just said, Fallout New Vegas had tons of problems when it first came out. Like people, how quickly they forget and how fondly they remember games that they liked. And those games probably had their fair share of problems too. You just overlooked it because you loved the game.
Well, for anybody who feels that way and perhaps doesn't know the history, I would highly recommend. It's a long video, but go over to Many a True Nerd and watch his video. I forget exactly what it's titled, but something to the effect of Fallout 3 isn't that bad. This guy has a huge amount of knowledge and history on all of these games. He knows his stuff, and he brings up some extremely good points comparing the two games. I think people remember that Obsidian is the original developer of the original Fallout, right? So not just Fallout New Vegas. So there's a certain amount of nostalgia and loyalty to a developer there, but that's a highly recommended video if you truly think that Fallout New Vegas was better than Fallout 3, and in some ways it was, but it's a great video to watch. So
I mean, every generation of this game, you're going to get people from the previous generation who will not be impressed by this installment. That just happens.
Yep.
All right, so let's check in with our good friend Susan, way down in Vault 97, over there from West Vault Radio. Here's her submission last year for her episode. Thanks, Susan.
Hello there, the Fallout feed. Yes, it's me, Susan, host of West Vault Radio, right here from Vault 97. Now, I got a message from you guys saying it was Christmas time and that you wanted a little gift. And as Christmas is indeed the season of giving, I thought, what is the greatest gift I could give those wonderful folks over there at the Fallout feed? And well, I've decided it's the gift of me and song. So together with my robot compatriots down here, I've made you guys a little special song to cheer up your Christmas spirit and hopefully get your feet a-stomping at the Fallout feed Christmas party. So without further ado, here is I Saw 3 Raiders by me, Susan, and Mr. W and someone else.
I saw 3 raiders drifting by on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 raiders drifting by on Christmas Day in the morning. And what was on their minds was sweet on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And what was on their minds was sweet on Christmas Day in the morning. A raid upon poor Fish's farm on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. A raid upon poor Fish's farm on Christmas Day in the morning.
And who would stop those raiders three on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And who would stop those raiders three on Christmas Day in the morning?
A sole survivor wandering she on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. A sole survivor wandering she on Christmas Day in the morning. So let
all the minute men shall sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day.
and all the minute men shall see on Christmas Day in the morning. So let us all eat roast ramen on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. So let us all eat roast ramen on Christmas Day in the morning.
So that is all of us here down in Vault 97, wishing all of you Wastelanders and the hosts of the Fallout feed and little baby Mortimer here a very happy holidays. Take care now.
Thank you so much from our good friends down there at Vault 97. We also had another chime in from another good friend of the show, our friends over at We Just Love Games and That Fallout Show.
Hey guys, Shalene, Rick, and Vendertron here from We Just Love Games. We want to wish everyone over at ASAPodcasting a wonderful holiday season and a productive podcast-filled new year.
Whether you're stalking dragons through the wintry mountains of Skyrim or enjoying the festive green glow of a glowing one, we wish you and yours all the best this holiday.
From our podcast family to yours,
happy holidays.
Oh, those guys are sweet over there. We Just Love Games. Love those guys. Check out their podcast, That Fallout Show. Also, the Game Stack podcast under that umbrella. Good fun.
Oh, excellent.
Well, I've got a couple of Christmas songs. Anyone who knows me knows my crappy garage band, Red Queen Hypothesis. We're actually responsible for the intro music to the Fallout feed. Where every once in a while I get people who're like, "Oh, we like that song. Who wrote that?" And I was like, "I did. Gee whiz." They're like, "No, I swear." Actually was accused of, someone said, like, "I never heard that They Might Be Giants before. I never heard that song before." Where I was like, "No, that's my band. I guess we sound like them."
They copied you.
Yeah. They got in a time machine and went 20 years in the future, copied us, and then went back. Did the Back to the Future style. But so I wrote a song for the West Vault Radio Christmas special last year. And it is called Another Christmas in the Wasteland. Let's see if we get pulled up here.
Another Xmas in the wasteland. Tell those raiders to go pouncing, making us have to protect this glowing meat. Another Xmas in the wasteland. There are super mutants gathered on that dead and rotting rat stag in the street. All the robots will be rusting underneath the mistletoe. All the rotting scores of cazadors and the death claw's big red nose. But don't you dare go calling him Rudy, who caked his beak with mud. Cause our new festive chameleon friend is surely caked with blood. Another Xmas in the wasteland. All the ghouls begin to shake hands with the stench of 1,000 death clouds of cram meat. Left out rotting in the sunshine mire lurks their stink bomb landmines. Just cut it off, you'll never wash those feet. All the robots will be rusting underneath the mistletoe. All the rotting scores of cazadors and the death claw's big red nose. But don't you dare go calling him Rudy, who caked his beak with mud. Cause our new festive chameleon friend is surely caked with blood. Another Xmas in the wasteland. Tell those raiders to go pouncing, for making us have to protect this glowing meat. Left out rotting in the sunshine mire, lurks a stink bomb landmines. Just cut it off, you'll never watch the speed. Just cut it off, you'll never watch the speed.
Yikes! That Geiger counter's getting going a little bit there. At the...
Is that what that is? That's awesome. Great. I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, recycled from the West Vault Radio Christmas special last year. I don't think we played that on our show, but you know, I'll repurpose it. I'm not ashamed to play stuff. Yeah. So, speaking of West Vault Radio, also the submission from them last year, Luke actually has he does, you know, Professor W and various, you know, audio production stuff over there for West Vault Radio. And turns out he has a really nice voice. Luke did a really good job singing. So we have a background of the, you know, chestnut. It's called the Christmas song. It's like chestnuts roasting over open fire, which he sort of repurposed. Which we have a longer version, which I'll play at the end of the show. We also have one with Susan also interacting with the song. So let's check in with Luke and Laura again here from West Vault Radio.
Oh, hello there, listeners. You've just caught me listening to one of my holiday favorites, the Fallout song, actually sung by our very own Mr. Wigglesworth. I have to say, I love the holiday season. Every year I get messages from you out there in the wasteland asking, Susan, what's the ideal gift to give my friends and family and roving raider gangs that attack my settlement? Well, listeners, I've had a real think about it this year, so I've made you a Susan top list of the 5 greatest gifts you can give your wasteland friend. In at number 5, ammunition. Never underestimate the power of stockpiling ammunition. You just never know when you may need it. At number 4, caps. I know, boring, but how many times has our great Aunt Irma bought us a truly hideous pair of socks that we really could do without and, quite frankly, just want the money for? So, caps. Great idea, a classic, not boring at all. At number 3, a Diamond City Surplus gift card. I know, Myrna can be a bit of a tough cookie to deal with, but give her one of these gift cards and she'll soften up like butter for you. At number 2, a stim pack. Let's face it, stim packs are the most useful thing you can have in the wasteland. Next time you lose a leg, one of these will do you right. And, of course, now it's time for number 1. What are you wondering? What is Susan saying that you should have? Well, as you know, listeners, I am a big fan of bringing back civilization to the wasteland. Now, as well as giving the gift of me at WVR, I'd be selfish if I didn't recommend one of the greatest sources of civilization, the Fallout Feed. It's a fantastic show that gives you all the hints and tips you need to survive in the uncivilized wasteland while maintaining a certain sense of dignity whilst doing so. So there you have it, the Susan top tip, the Fallout Feed. Now I'm going to get back to my tunes, accessible from vault97.com. So stay safe out there, listeners, and from all of us here at WVR, have a happy holiday season.
Their skin all aglow.
One of my favorite holiday traditions that I've gotten to know from Laura as we've been friends over the last couple of years via our Fallout podcasts. Again, I can't recommend West Vault Radio highly enough to anyone out there who hasn't checked it out. Please do so this holiday season.
It is great.
Wonderful show. Basically, Susan's doing a radio broadcast from a vault buried deep, beneath the ground and hasn't come out anything. And, Vault Tech has left all these robots and everything. So all she has are these robots to interact with. And she plays a radio show like everyone's really into it. And she wins all sorts of awards every year. So it's a really great sort of tongue-in-cheek, old-timey radio show. It's really, really, really well done. So I recommend checking that out. But she's always been really excited about the holidays, and like is she wanted to be here on this holiday episode because she had fun last year and on previous episodes, and she's also helped us out with projects like King of the Bunker Hill that we've done our little game show. But one of my favorite games that I've heard of recently because of Laura is Whamageddon. Are any of you familiar with this Whamageddon phenomenon in the UK?
Nope.
Never heard of it.
So Wham has a song that I used to absolutely despise, which has become so beloved to me now. It is called Last Christmas, the Wham Christmas song. Does everyone know that?
There's a video for it, isn't there?
There's got to be. And there's been so many covers of it now. Like I'm sure Taylor Swift has a version of it now, but it's like the last Christmas you gave me your heart, and the very next day you gave it away. This year, instead of the tears, I'll give it to someone special. It's just a really overly cheesy pop song from the 80s, But they have this game in the UK now called Whamageddon, where you try to avoid hearing that because the song is just everywhere. Like if you listen to Christmas music at all, it's like, bam. If you go into any sort of store, any retail establishment during the holiday season, you'll be bombarded by this song. It's just so hard to avoid. So they have now created this game in the UK where people try to avoid getting Whamageddoned as long as they can into the season. And then when they do it, they post it on Twitter. Oh damn, I got whammed on December 12th. Hashtag Whamageddon or whatever. So I just thought that was a really fun Christmas tradition. But I don't try to avoid that song. I really like Christmas music.
I'm asking Vivian if she's ever heard of it.
Whamageddon. It's good fun. Good fun. Well, we haven't had too many Skyrim references or Tamriel references. See, I don't know. The Tamriel game, Elder Scrolls game that I am most familiar with is Skyrim. I've dabbled in Oblivion a little bit, and even less Arena. No, not Arena. What's the one before that? Dawnstar? No. What's it called?
Daggerfall.
Morrowind and Daggerfall. Yeah.
Morrowind and Daggerfall. Daggerfall, I think, it became available digital, I believe, on Xbox One. No. I don't remember. I got one of them. But so we haven't had a ton of holiday references to the Elder Scrolls world. But in years past, I did write a 12 Days of Christmas song that takes place in Skyrim. But I decided not to punish you by going all the way up and then back down. You know how that song is just like fucking 12 minutes long because they start at 1 and then 2 and then 1 and 2 and then 1, 2, and 3 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. They go up and all the way back down. I hate that. It bugs me so much. But it is a good list song, and there's no better way to represent, to exploit something easily with references by just plugging out one thing and plugging something else in a list. So you have to exploit that with the 12 Days of Christmas here. So
of course,
I have the 12th day of Evening Star for our Skyrim holiday fans. On the 12th day of Evening Star, Lydia gave to me 12 dragons devouring, 11 ice wraiths freezing, 10 frost trolls jumping, 9 followers following, 8 horkers flopping, 7 vampires cursing, 6 forsworn begging, 5 enchanted flawless diamond gold rings, 4 singing bards, 3 chickens, 2 barking dogs, and a moth priest at the Evergleam. So I didn't punish everyone with all 12 days. We just started at 12 and worked our way backwards.
Excellent.
So that's
a link in the chat of holidays celebrated in the Elder Scrolls world.
Oh, great. We'll post that into the group, maybe, and take a look at it.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't 12 followers.
Yeah, how many did I say? 9, 7? What? It should have.
That was a little light.
Must have been before I discovered the true value, the true power of the ritual stone.
The ritual stone, yes. Well, dead followers, yeah.
The 38 dead followers plus a mammoth and a couple giants, if I can manage.
Excellent.
Love that ritual stone. So we've got a couple of hits from years past, and a couple of my band has an official song or two on actual real holiday compilations. And this one came out just a few years ago, called "The Treetops Are Alive." It was on the standard holiday. It's a very standard Christmas holiday compilation available in the Indianapolis area. It was basically indie bands from Indianapolis on this cool little former indie label that doesn't exist anymore, called Standard Records. But they had 3 compilations, holiday compilations. This one was on the 3rd one. Here's Red Queen Hypothesis with "The Treetops Are Alive."
Tragic when your happy family waits all alone. Making children's choir on the broken floor sways to the song. Echoes brilliantly of the emptiness into their bones, their bones. The Christmas lights twirl with all electric swirl. The tree tops are alive. The tree tops are alive. Christmas lights twirl with all electric swirl. The tree tops are alive. The tree tops are alive. Atop the Christmas tree, astronomically the Jesus star twinkles endlessly. Presents under the tree appear so very far. There is a holiday pushing our home. 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 Christmas lights are twirl with all electric swirl. The tree tops are alive. The tree tops are alive. Christmas lights are twirl with all electric swirl. The tree tops are alive. The tree tops are alive. Christmas lights are twirl with all electric swirl. The tree tops are alive. The tree tops are alive. Christmas lights are twirl with all electric swirl. The tree tops are alive. The tree tops are alive.
And a blast from the past. We have Pat here with a submission from Dr. Tsoon. How Strong Stole Christmas.
How Strong Stole Christmas by Dr. Sun. Everyone in Diamond City liked Christmas a lot, but Strong, who lived just east of Diamond City, did not. Strong hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one knows quite the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shorts were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, his heart or his shorts, he hated the residents and all of their sorts. Staring down from his cage with a sour, strongy frown at the warm-lighted windows below in their town, for he knew everyone down in the city beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his strong fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the city girls and boys would wake bright and early they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, 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 noise. There's one thing he hated, the noise, 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 noise. Then the kids, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Blamco mac and cheese and rare Brahmin beast, which was something that Strong couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every child in the city, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the kids would start singing. And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more Strong thought of this vile Christmasing, the more Strong thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for too many years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. Strong got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, Strong laughed in his throat. And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great mutant trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer. Strong looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop Mutant Strong? No, old Strong simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he found a radstag, the kind that is glowing, and he shaved all its fur, so the glowing was showing. Then Strong loaded some sacks and some old empty bags on a rusty Rocket 69, and he hitched up that radstag. Then Strong said, get up, and the rocket shot down toward the homes where the kids lay a snooze in their town. All the windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the kids were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Strongy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney and had one tight pause, but if Santa could do it, then so could Strong Claus. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. Where the little kid stockings all hung in a row, these stockings he grinned are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pipe guns, beakers, wooden blocks in an S, duct tape, hot plates, hallucinogen gas. He stuffed them in bags, then Strong very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the whole feast. He took all the Blamco. He took Brahmin meat. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned old Strong, I will stuff up the tree. And Strong grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a strange sight. Little Natalie Wright, all ready to fight. Strong had been caught by this girl, very cute, who'd got out of a bed for a bite of moot fruit. She stared at old Strong and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know that fake Claus was so big and so strong. He knew what to do, and it didn't take long. He bit off little Nat's head, and it took just one bite, and he wasn't too bothered by this most horrid sight. And then Strong ran back to his cage, and he had a very nice and quiet Christmas.
God bless you, Patrick.
That's really good. That was awesome.
Horrors of the Wasteland.
That's wonderful. Of course, the Grinch being one of my absolute favorite presentations of any holiday story. The original Dr. Seuss story and the 1960s cartoon by Chuck Jones and Boris Karloff is also one of my favorites. So it's just a wonderful little nod there, Pat. It's so easily to swap in Strong and a clever usage of the media. So thank you, Pat, for
perfect.
Very nicely done. Ray, I was going to ask you, sorry to bring it up again with the regional food podcast, just for another minute or so. What percentage of your meal can and will be prepared sous vide?
So the most important part of the Christmas meal will be done sous vide, and that's the bone and rib roast.
Nice.
So
rib roast.
Yeah.
And okay. So how does that work real quick?
So the beauty of sous vide is that you're cooking to an absolute temperature. So if you want your meat to be, finish at 139 degrees, you put it in 139 degree water. And then when you're done and you take it out, from one end of the roast to the other, it's all, perfectly whatever you want it to be. Medium rare, medium. And then you use a tool called a S.P.E.C.I.A.L, which is, for starters, just a whole lot of fun. So it attaches to a blowtorch.
I was going to say it's a blowtorch, right?
Yeah. And so it spreads out the flame of the blowtorch so that it's about a 3-inch circle, and you just go around and crisp up the outside of the meat, so you get that nice crispy outside, and then the inside is perfectly cooked. And there's just no better way to cook beef. Most steakhouses, the better steakhouses cook steak sous vide. So they'll have a series of tanks in the back, and they'll hold the steaks at, medium rare, rare, medium well. And then when you order it, they take it out, take the bag out of the water, and then they throw it in the Scorpion, which is a super hot broiler that gives the outside of the meat the brown, crispy finish. And they don't have to worry about, some, knucklehead minimum wage line chef screwing up a $30 steak. So it's it's certainly one of the best ways to cook a piece of beef.
That sounds wonderful. I was just curious. We always have to check in with the sous vide aspect of all the meals that you can prepare at home. So the most important process, or the most important step in your Christmas dinner, is going to be brought by sous vide. I was hoping that one of our friends from the UK was going to join us today, because I wanted to get into Christmas pudding to see what that's all about. Victor, Ray, Frater, you guys know anything about Christmas pudding? Lee?
I know a lot about puddings. Don't forget, I'm going out with a Brit. So.
Oh, nice. Tell us,
I have frozen suet in the freezer right now, ready to be grated and used in a pudding.
Tell me about it.
Oh well, suet is the traditional shortening for any British pudding. So you have to have suet. You have to be able to find it. Good butchers usually suet. I don't know if you know exactly what suet is, but suet's the fat around the kidney, beef fat. It's around the kidney, very pure.
When I worked at a grocery store in college, we would sell it, and people would roll bird feed in it, I think.
Yes, that is another use for it, but it's much better in pudding.
You don't like bird seed?
Yeah, well, bird seed is kind of crunchy, but yeah, pudding. Christmas puddings are important. Vivian is actually making a couple today in her Instant Pot.
Wonderful.
So, yeah,
I've never actually had a real Christmas pudding. I don't think
the traditional pudding that you hang and soak in various alcoholic beverages that takes quite a while. The plum pudding. But we make just traditional, well, I will tell you what the Brits call one of their puddings. Here we find it an odd. Yeah, Ray's nodding. He knows exactly what I'm about to say. We find it a little bit oddly named, but it's called a spotted dick, and it's basically a pudding with currants in it, and it's super delicious. But that is indeed what it's called.
Sign me up for some.
Yep. So
wonderful. One of the actually the first Christmas song I ever written was written right not long after my father passed away, And this song my mom always likes a lot because it is a reflection upon the Christmas traditions in my household as a kid. Like waking up on Christmas morning and not being allowed to come downstairs. We had to sit up at the top of the stairs until it was time to go. I don't know. It was probably as early as 6 a.m. before we were allowed to go, but we thought that we had to wait there forever at the top of the stairs. And my brother and I had our Star Wars underpants on, and then it talks about the fudge that my mom would make every Christmas. That was a big thing. She would make toffee and fudge, and that was always a tradition in my household. It mentions the going to my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve for the crockpot barbecue, like that was brought up earlier in the show, up to Portland, Indiana, on Highway 27. It also, just mentions reindeer on the lawn because my dad would take a deer hoof that we had, a taxidermy deer hoof. We didn't have the rest of the deer anywhere in the house, just the hoof. And he would take that outside, and the sort of mud around the edge of our sidewalk put deer tracks leading in the snow and the mud up to the porch, where we would have big long carrots that he would have the dog eat most of, but leave the nubs, so that it looked like an animal had chewed off the carrots. So, and we would leave out fudge and toffee because my folks said that he had had enough cookies for one night, so he was in for a treat of fudge and toffee at our house.
So, having had a European, at least partly European upbringing, as I did, did you celebrate the 6th of December at all? Did you put a shoe outside your door?
No, I only experienced that when I was an exchange student and lived in Germany and Austria in subsequent years after that. That's the first that I'd ever really heard of the 6th of December. And then my favorite part of that whole tradition, I don't know if your tradition, you're speaking of European tradition, speaking of this, but the night before is the Krampus night.
Yes. Yep.
Oh man, I love the Krampus night. That is such a fun tradition where your Christmas demon brings his slave with chains to help haul little children away who have been naughty to be eaten by the demon of Satan. So it's
so
great.
typically German though. Yeah, it's like be good or you will be torn apart, flayed, and tortured to death. Yeah, it's like
okay. Depictions of him dragging a bag of like hands bound together that have been severed.
Yeah, it's like Struwwelpeter. Did you get Struwwelpeter too?
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay, yeah, he's the for the rest of the year. Struwwelpeter was the
similar demon.
No, Struwwelpeter was just a bad boy, and then bad things happened to him. But yeah, morality.
Now, did you celebrate the 6th of December having European?
Yes, I put a shoe out every Eve on Krampus night. Yes, and although my mother didn't, she was not into Krampus. I mean, I had a little Jewish mother who liked to celebrate Christmas because she liked the season. So, but yeah, we put.
And what was? Remind me, what were you supposed to find in the shoe the next morning? Was that like chocolates or an orange?
Yeah, usually an orange, and then sometimes if you'd been bad, there might be a little switch or something like that, or a bit of coal or something.
Coal, yeah, that's where our lump of coal thing comes from.
Yep, exactly, yeah, and some fruit and maybe a little toy or something. Nothing serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did all our Christmas present opening on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's an Italian thing too. I believe Southern Europe does a lot of Christmas Eve is the really big celebration, and Christmas Day is more for a quiet.
Well, that's how my parents explained Santa to me, was that the logical disconnect of Santa carrying around all of those toys. So they would Christmas Eve was presents from the family, and then Santa would fill the stocking overnight. And
okay,
yeah.
Okay, so it was a smaller event with Santa who left the actual stocking.
Yeah,
okay. That's interesting. That's great. So yeah, ours was knee deep, filling up the living room. You could dive off the couch and make present angel sort of thing. The go-go capitalist 80s. There's just the boom of commercialism really with Christmas, and everyone had to have toys and all that.
Yeah.
So we always had just so much crap to open, and I remember my dad had a system where he would just have a trash bag sitting beside him as we unwrapped to put the stuff into the recycling so that it wouldn't, he had obviously learned from one year his mistake by letting it get like piled up with paper or something. So I just loved his little system. He always had something ready to go, and I actually do the same thing now. I have my little recycling for the paper, but I actually try not to do that anymore. I like to take a box and wrap the box so that the lid can be removed without, I wrap the both lids and then close the box, and you can open the box without ripping the paper, therefore not wasting paper, and you can kind of reuse it a couple years before it gets all really tattered and bad looking. Try not to, contribute too much to killing a ton of trees. You know what I mean? Did you ever do any of the 8 Nights, Victor, as a kid growing up?
No.
Yeah. We actually display a menorah in our house. None of us are Jewish in this house. My wife was raised Catholic. I was raised Quaker, but I just really love the menorah and just kind of what it represents and the story behind it, and the candles are so pretty that I like to display. When I contacted one of my pretty devout Jewish friends and asked him if it was blasphemous to do that, and he said, as long as you're not doing it mocking it, there's no problem. So I like to light the menorah too. It's a nice tradition.
Yeah, no, we never did. My mom was very secular, and so there was no.
Yeah. Well, I don't do it for any religious reason. I just like it because it's pretty. You know what I mean? That's probably. I hope that's not blasphemous or I'm offending anyone by that. But
not at all.
I like
unless you drape it in pork fat or something like that.
Well, there might be some of that at Christmas dinner. Might be some of that at Christmas dinner. So anyway, I was talking about a song that I had written shortly after my father passed away, describing he was really into Christmas too, like I am. That might be part of the reason why I'm sort of overly into Christmas for an embarrassing amount for an adult male in the United States. I'm not ashamed to wear Christmas buttons on my lapel and wear a flashy Santa Claus hat. And right now I'm wearing a shirt that says "Ho" with a 3 like ho cubed. So my wife got me that early, so she knows I like to wear some Christmas shirts during the season. So I like to write Christmas songs, and here's one I wrote about the Christmas traditions in my household growing up. This was on the very first standard recording Christmas compilation called A Very Standard Christmas Volume 1. This is Red Queen Hypothesis with Crockpot Barbecue.
Fresh pecan rolls on the stove, an overloaded stocking with an orange in the toe. The kids wake up excited for their toys. This time of year brings goodwill and cheer. Come sing with us, because it is Christmas. Kids up on the stairs, they wake up way too early in their Star Wars underwear. They can't come down until their dad says it's okay. This time of year brings goodwill and cheer. Come sing with us, because it is Christmas. Some bugs that my mom made with the toffee and the turtles on the TV tray. The reindeer's carrots were eaten by the dog. This time of year brings goodwill and cheer. Come sing with us, because it is Christmas. Taking 27 up to Portland. See some Crockpot barbecue with Grandma. The house is filled with presents and our cousins. A little plastic party tree. Goodwill and cheer. Come sing with us, because it is Christmas. This time of year brings goodwill and cheer. Come sing with us, because it is Christmas. Come sing with us, because it is Christmas.
Hey, Lee had to skedaddle, but I'd like to thank Lee for stopping by the show and hanging out at our Christmas party this year. Thanks a lot, Lee, for your submission, and it's been fun having you on the show. We did have just a couple more things to get to. Thanks for everyone for hanging out. This good little couple-hour holiday party. I've always had a good time doing this sort of thing.
Before you go on to I have to skedaddle too, because half my computer is frozen now trying to get this Amazon downloader to run. So I'm kind of limping along here.
Go. All right, Victor. Thanks for hopping on, and happy holidays, sir. Enjoy yourself.
See you, everybody. Happy holidays.
Yep. Thank you, sir. This is one from a couple of years ago that I did repurpose the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, A Visit from Old Saint Nick, classic Christmas poem. In the vein of Fallout, this one's called A Visit from Old Christmas Deathbot. 'Twas the night before Fallout, when all through the wasteland, all the creatures were staring at the lone wanderer's gun hand. Ballistic we've hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that super mutants would soon flee in despair. The children were sleepless, afraid in their beds, while visions of mirelurks danced in their heads. Magnolia's lullabies and Grognet's magic belt. Preston cries, "Another settlement needs our help!" When out in the waste arose such a clatter, must sleep for survival and drink purified water. Away to the railroad I flew in a flash, tore open some psycho and used 8 stim packs. The moon on the breast of the Commonwealth waste, give monsters advantage, lone wanderer makes haste. When what would appear to make my eyes mad, but a broken down sleigh and 8 disgusting rad stags. With a metallic old driver all rusty with rot, I knew right away this Xmas Deathbot. More rapid than sting wings, his coursers they came. He buzzed, causing feedback when hollering their names.
Now smasher, now cancer, now deadbeat and infection. On pus wound, on garbage, on rad roach and fat man. Climb up, red rocket, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, smash away, crash away all.
As dry heaves throughout the wasteland did fly, rusty vomit and stag shit rained down from the sky. So up to the rooftop, the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of junk and that nasty robot too. And then to my terror, I heard on the roof the breaking and crushing of each rancid hoof. With my gun in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney Deathbot came with a bound. He was covered in blood from his hat to his tread, and from his mouth hung a rotting necklace of heads. A bundle of junk he had flung on his back, and he pointed his minigun and launched the attack. His eyes all bloodshot, his teeth all rotten, his nose like a corkscrew could not be forgotten. His rusted out hair in need of a barber. His breath caused the fog that plagued Old Far Harbor. The stump of an army held tight in his teeth. Smoke encircled him like an atom bomb wreath. A cut on his face leaked the pus of Ebola, and he reached in his sack for his 14th Nuka-Cola. He was gnarled, disgusting, a mangled old elf, and I cried when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye, and he jerked off his head. Radiation spilling filled the room with dread. He spoke not a word, just unloaded his gun. Under a spray of bullets, we all had to run. The lead took us down as thick terror grows. While grabbing the children, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, stuffed the kids in his sack, and I knew right away they were not coming back. But I heard him exclaim as they flew out of sight,
"Happy Fallout to all, and a Vault Tech good night."
And that was a couple years ago. I put that together, I believe, for our 2016 Christmas show, maybe something like that. Let's see. We have one song I wanted to play by Luke again from Vault 76, but that was sort of what you heard in the background that Susan was speaking over for her last submission. But I really wanted to play the song because I like that. So we'll play that as our sort of goodbye outro music. But before we go, I'd like to play a song that I wrote last year as part of the RPM Challenge. That's rpmchallenge.com. And this is a project for musicians that is similar to the write a novel in a month challenge that exists for writers. I forget. It has a specific name, but
NaNoWriMo.
Okay, whatever Ray just said there. NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo. So musicians also have a similar project where we write and record an entire album in the month of February. So that's 28 days that you can't start, have any concepts. You can't write anything beforehand, and you just have to start on February 1st. And on February 28th, submit a finished album. And it's just a lot of fun. The general purpose is to get songwriters in the community to encourage each other to get over having songwriting blocks and to just get stuff down and just to go and just to create and just to write and don't worry about getting caught up in the meanings and, oh, this doesn't sound quite right. Can't worry about the basics or like the really tiny stuff. You know what I mean? It's just encourages you to go, just get a project done. It just encourages you to get out and produce. And so I really like that whole concept. And it's a really supportive community as well, and everybody listens to each other's music, and it's really fun. So I try to keep doing that, even in my old age. As I get older, this was I believe it's been going on for 14 years, and this is the 13th time that my band has done it. So we try to do it every year. Sometimes we try to write 20 songs and get 2 albums. But the thing is, you have to either write 35 minutes of original music or 10 new original songs. And if you ever heard of any of our songs, we're not like a punk band, but our songs are that length. You know what I mean? We're more of like a pop song, I guess. I don't know. But our song length is always way short. So it's always easier for us to write 10 songs, because if we had to write 35 minutes of music, we would literally have to write 25 songs. That's how short our songs are. But anyway, here is one that I wrote. This is my salute to the day that I hate more than any day on the calendar. This is my Christmas song from last year. This is my tongue-in-cheek salute to December 26th, which I like to call the worst day of the year, because I'm such a fan of Christmas that December 26th, when the holiday supposedly ends, the radio stops playing Christmas music and everyone sort of goes back about their normal business. Everyone else is sort of like, oh yeah, okay, this is what normal life is like again, but it just sends me into a spiral of holiday depression or something. It's really bad. So I decided to write a song about it. It's called The Worst Day of the Year by Red Coin Hypothesis. Wrote it last year for the RPM Challenge.
Well, the tree is dead and all the lights are down and the gloom of Christmas cheer. It's the day after Christmas, the worst day of the year. Eggnog got drunk, decorations are done, mistletoe wrapped someone's rear. 26th of December, the worst day of the year. No one singing like a sleigh bells ringing as we reverse deck the halls. Santa's crying, all the elves start dying as the deep depression falls. As for India stomps on the misfit toys, a couple eats reindeer. A massacre in the north, the worst day of the year. No one singing like a sleigh bells ringing as we reverse that the home. Santa's crying, all the elves start dying as we keep pressing calls. Well, the tree is dead and all the lights are down and they killed all the Christmas cheer. It's the day after Christmas, the worst day of the year. It's the day after Christmas, the worst day of the year. It's the day after Christmas, the worst day of the year.
I believe that's the podcast debut of that song. You'll probably hear it for many holidays in a row coming out for the next bunch of years. Thanks,
Freighter calls that Boxing Day.
Boxing Day, the worst day of the year, Freighter. It's terrible. Remind me what that is, because I've always been sort of intrigued about Boxing Day, Freighter. What is this Boxing Day phenomenon that you Canadians celebrate? Is it a British thing, probably?
I'm not sure where it started, but the original idea from when I was a kid, we used to think of it as just the day you clean up all your crap. But somehow it turned into our Black Friday.
Oh, okay. So you have your big sales after the Christmas holiday.
Well, now we have Black Friday and this.
That's interesting. So do cheapos not celebrate Christmas till the day after Christmas?
Yeah, everybody knows somebody that's like that. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
I usually set aside a couple $100 and go to Best Buy or Future Shop or whatever.
Oh yeah, do you see that would be you do Christmas for the family from Black Friday sales. You do Christmas for Freighter on Boxing Day sales, right?
That's right.
That's all right. Do you guys have any other things you'd like to get into before we close out the show? Ray and Freighter, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on and celebrating the festive holidays with us. It was great having Lee and Victor on as well. Also, Sarah earlier on. Thanks everyone for hopping on. You guys have anything else you want to get into today?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think Lee posted the video from our PC meetup last night.
Oh, wonderful. On his YouTube page, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but he's
the Facebook group.
Yeah, he posted in the Facebook group.
Great. Awesome. Well, Lee, thank you for hopping on, sir, and for your submissions to the community. Victor, for coming on. Ray, happy holidays, sir. Freighter.
You too.
You too, man.
Freighter, we'll see you over there in the Xbox stream team. Always having a good time. People check out, find a friend, find a team. Use our Fallout Feed friends list found on our website right underneath the Fallout 76 character generator. You want to hop onto the round table. You see what a nice, warming, loving Christmas community we have here. We're all inclusive. Everybody, come find a friend. You'll find someone to run in the wasteland with. It's a lonely, cold place, especially this time of year in the wasteland. It always does well to take a buddy along. Use the buddy system with the Fallout Feed and join our roundtable. We'd love to hear your stories. Please send all your feedback to the roundtable for the Fallout Feed at gmail.com. Early on in the season, let's try to keep it a little bit, 5-6 minutes. Tell us about your character. This upcoming Thursday night, we're going to be doing our first batch of feedback for the character draw. Tell us all about your characters, the name, the factions, and all that stuff, and any problems you foresee, if this is a lot different than what you're used to, and what your sort of plan will be with your crazy random perk cards and everything assigned. So we're looking forward to another successful season of the Roundtable. And I'd like to thank everyone for hopping into this holiday party. I've had a really good time hanging out with everybody. And you can always listen to our podcast live on YouTube Thursday nights, 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And the podcast version can be found at your usual podcast places. Now on not only Stitcher, but whatever that other service is. I can't remember. See,
Spotify.
Yeah, there you go, Ray. It's now on Spotify too. So if you're a Spotify user and you want to abandon whatever you want to abandon, you can do that now. So thanks for hanging out for our holiday special. And we will sign out here with a submission from Luke from West Vault Radio. Thank you guys for all your submissions. Such a wonderful community. Happy holidays. We'll see you in the wasteland.
Red roach roasting on an open fire. More rats nipping at your toes. Wasteland carols being sung by some settlers and simps dressed up like, well, who knows? Everybody knows a Deathclaw and a proxy mine help to make the season bright. Feral ghouls, their skin all aglow, will make it hard to sleep tonight. You know that raiders are on their way, intent on finding lots of settlers to slay. And every Minuteman is gonna spy to see if the Brotherhood really knows how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple quest from levels 1 to 92. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think now it's time for my piano solo.
Voice modulator off. Yes, no, Mr. Wigglesworth. I swear, if you keep going, I'm going to turn off all your communication subroutines. This is my show. Thank you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was our very own Mr. W singing the Christmas song, originally sung by Nat King Cole. But personally, I think our version's better.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimaddictpodcast podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Ray, I was selfish the whole show. I didn't even mention the new Skyrim roundtable. Would you like to take a few moments just to mention that really quickly before we sign off?
So we started it up on the charity stream. It is the Hearthfire edition. So starting off, I believe January 27th will be the first episode. So there'll be the quests will be posted up on the website at some point, but we're building the Lakeview Manor and doing some Whiterun and Riften and Falkreath quests, little side quests in those areas. So there's a random character generator on the Skyrim site. You can go roll a character and join in the fun.
Sounds good. I'm going to try to use my Switch and try to play along if I can find some time to submit some feedback and such. So that'll be great to do the Hearthfire houses and all the different spots around town, and some side quests going on with the houses around those neighborhoods. That'll be sweet. Awesome. Looking forward.
Just remember, you can never get enough iron.
No, you always need more iron. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.